What is up, everyone out in internet land? Right here is the Truckee River, and obviously I'm under a bridge. I've been basically spending all day in Reno today. I met up on a date, actually. Whoa. Sand on the shoes. Not optimal. And it was good. Nice to have some social interaction time with a real person rather than a camera talking while usually around water and talking to myself. So yeah, I think met from like 9 until 3 o'clock, walking along a dog park and then a coffee shop. So that was good. It's nice to be out there in real human land, human connections, talking about things of the world, all of our problems, solving homelessness and world peace. No, not really. But even though like me and this person, prospective, like dating individual, I suppose, it's just nice to like kind of have that back and forth discussion, I suppose, and get someone else's opinion on the world and life and what they've been going through. And of course, however, I can't be fully honest, I think, and talk about how I live or a YouTube channel because I don't want to scare people off right away. You gotta slowly ease into these topics. But then again, I'll share it all on the internet for the whole world to see. As long as they're not in my immediate vicinity, other than on this YouTube channel, about being homeless and parking on the streets or near the lakes, etc. Very, very private person. Maybe like the most private, and yet this is all being broadcast anyways. What a contradictory life. I definitely think that there is a correlation with my own happiness. And I don't know, maybe some of you guys could relate, but the more I'm doing and the busier I am, I'm not just focused on how crappy things can be, but instead whether or not it's really improving my life or working towards something in the future. The fact that just being busy and trying to better myself in some way through fitness, nutrition, just going out on walks, meditation, I just feel so much better for my days. Even just the fact yesterday I made a video, posted it, got out some emotions and thoughts and feelings, and kind of just working through this whole process of making a video and then expressing aloud my thoughts and like emotional turmoils, you could say. It just helps release it out of my system. It gets it out there at least, so it's not just being internalized fully. Granted, I'm just telling everyone on the internet how I feel, but I think there is still healing in that kind of a process. And you feel like even if it's so minuscule of a victory or accomplishment, it's really something. And it's just, a way of providing a little bit of value to the world versus just sitting in my own vehicle and just relishing over the fact that I'm losing fitness and I'm not accomplishing as much as I'd like, and how did I get to this point in life, and what mistakes have I made, how can I become better, when I should really just be focused on the moment. Granted, yes, trying to better myself and look for opportunities and being more in a meditative state, I suppose, to be clear of mind. But then again, like letting go of the burden and the struggle, because this whole world, I don't have any control over it. Just like a small portion of control that I have in my own life. And the rest of it really is up to our world leaders and where the government goes, I suppose, and the economy and what God wants for my life. And maybe this is what God has intended for me. And so I should just be happy and take the blessings that I have, rather than just being negative about where I am at the moment. There's got to be some lessons in this, and building some resiliency, if nothing else, some character. And in the future, maybe these hardships will be built into something. It's like you refine gold by melting it down, and then you mold it into something. So maybe this will help mold me into a better person overall. And at least making videos, it seems to be helping me speak a little bit better and more articulately. See, I can't even speak, I can't even say the words. But instead of being afraid like I was of talking into a camera and being worried about what I'm saying, there's a freedom to just fully expressing yourself on a camera, at least, and being vulnerable to opinions, whether good or bad. It's out there, and we shouldn't be ashamed of our beliefs and our moral and ethical code, or the way you want to live, as long as it's not hurting other people. I think we need to let go of a lot of this burden that we need to make sure other people are accepting us. Some things we have to change about ourselves, but others, I think, you just have to put out in the world that this is who I am, this is what I believe in, and you can agree or disagree. And maybe we'll agree to disagree, but there's not going to be animosity, anger, or hatred between people. And perhaps you'll change your mind. But then again, like, I don't know, putting opinions out there and self-reflection, which I tend to do a lot because I definitely explode, make some controversial videos on topics that are very controversial, and then I have to reflect upon that and think about what I'm saying and how I'm going to share my own opinions and try to influence people. And if I'm influencing people towards something negative, then that's definitely not good. I mean, if you have a platform, I think there's a responsibility to maybe be a little bit more ethical and think about what you're saying. I am really embarrassed about the video I posted a couple days ago where I finished it at night and I was just talking about Lake Tahoe is just a terrible place where it's just so hard to live. But then also I'm just ignoring the fact that in the cities, there's just a different set of problems. Anywhere I would go, it's just different problems, and it's just different hardships. But maybe I had to like talk through that in order to realize that it's really not easy anywhere. There's no golden land with milk and honey where it's all rainbows and butterflies. It's just a struggle wherever we go. And I suppose technically that's the whole point of life, is the struggle. And perhaps just putting more faith into like a higher power or being, that there's a plan for us, and we have to let go at least of the stress and turmoil within our lives to allow that plan to manifest itself. And I don't like to give up control. I like to hold on to it as much as I can, and especially give it up to some being that is powerful up in the heavens, I suppose. And yeah, it's hard to even talk about Christianity and faith. And I think that in a way, I was talking about Islam is because I was kind of jealous about how strong of a faith that a lot of these people have and the conviction. Meanwhile, I'm here and I'm kind of like, do I want to talk about this? Is this what I want my channel to be about? And there's a person down there, so I don't want to bother him. And I wish I had the courage to be more solidified in faith and like in the Christian religion. I like the morality and the ethical message of it, but I don't really want to be known as that, perhaps, and spread like a gospel. But then again, that kind of makes me a hypocrite, perhaps, in a way, where I have the beliefs, perhaps, and I want to believe even more because I have a hard time with my unbelief, but then I am not really driven to spread it, the message. And then some other religion comes along and I'm like, stop spreading your message. As long as it's like a good message, I suppose that most people should have that right and the ability to share their faith. It shouldn't be, this is the only one that we can share. So I think that the thing that worries me is all of the control that's been given into religions and the cultures that go along with it and the societies that it builds. Because religion builds all of our societies. And that's kind of what scares me, is that change of what I know. Just like everyone else, you know, we get afraid of change. So, as much as I like things to change, I want them to stay the same. There's something to be said also for just working and putting your head in the sand and not doing anything else to improve your life. Making money just isn't the only thing out there. And I definitely made that my main focus, where it's just never enough. Kind of like doomsday prepping, saving up for something, but then like you save money and you buy, or you have a certain amount in savings, and you just think of the next milestone. And it really comes at a cost, I think, of our humanity and our ability to connect as people. We put our friendships and family on hold, and we just grind ahead until basically we have like a mental breakdown, and then crumble and go to a really dark place and hopefully recover. And some people probably don't recover, and then they end up doing far worse things to themselves, falling into a state of deep depression, maybe self-deleting. And I think that we have to be really careful about going down that road and that route of life, and just being aware of our own limitations. That's what I'm going to tell myself anyways, and I'm going to strive to try and do that and maintain my own mental health, because I have to tell you, there's certain times when I'm not doing enough for my mental health, and it hurts. It's like it's a psychological pain so deep that it just hurts your own body. For me, I definitely self-isolate. I just don't want anyone near me, because I don't even want to share the level of pain that I'm experiencing in case that brings them down. And I just get to the frame of mind that there's nothing anyone can say or do to help pull me out of it. That's a tough way to live. But I can't do that forever. At some point, I'm gonna have to rely on other people, especially people in the real world. Social media is all just kind of, it's transient. People come and go so freely and quickly. Using social media, maybe build a business, is probably the right way to go. And I think that YouTube at least allows that. But just because you have 10,000 followers on Instagram or on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, I think that's building your foundation on sand, and not a great way to go about living your life. So I don't know, I'm gonna try and make more human, person to person, in real life connections. It's so hard. Probably the hardest thing I can really do, because you have to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. But there has to be more than just talking to the camera. As much as I love you guys out there, I think I need some other beings around me. And I think that's where I was putting too much emphasis into getting a pet. But I know that animals still won't replace human to human interaction. So I'm gonna give it a go. I think you guys should too, if you're finding yourself lonely like I am. Also, to tie this whole video up a bit, I think it's okay to share our vulnerabilities and our struggles and what we're going through and what's really difficult, and ask people for forgiveness when we realize that we said something that was kind of out of pocket, as the kids would say, and that after some reflection you've modified your belief system. But again, with that ability to ask for forgiveness, self-reflect, I think it's also good for us to really not be afraid to share our belief system and stand up for it and be ready to defend it. Because sometimes by learning more, defending our own point of view or belief system, we might come to a different realization and have a moment of enlightenment where maybe we see the point from someone else as well. But don't throw your own belief system into the trash or be afraid to share it. In my own process of these videos and hearing things going on in the world, I'm probably going to share a lot of it. Some of it might be positive and some might be negative, and I'll probably have bad opinions and belief systems at some point. But I think it's good for us to at least acknowledge our mistakes and come back around. You know, but even if you're wrong about something, there's always grains of truth in everything. And so don't just self-mute yourself and think that your opinion doesn't matter. Because I think everyone has a message to share and a good belief system and ideas to share with the world. So as negative as I can be, I'm going to try to be a little more positive about things in life, even when I have nothing left.